What happens when the following program is compiled and run? Okay, so we have a worker class here. Notice that we have 3 instance variables: name, age, and wage. Then we have the constructor, which actually is what is used to set the attributes. So these attributes, instance variables, are initialized via the constructor. The program starts at the main. So the first line of code that will run is this code right here, which is going to create a worker object identified by MC. This worker object is going to use the worker constructor, which is going to pass in Peter, 25, and 235.0. In the code of the constructor, our name attribute is being set using num. Since num is Peter, this means that name will be Peter. The next line of code says that age is going to be set using ag. Since ag here was 25, then age will be 25. And the code for the constructor is done. So this question is actually testing to see if you're actually reading the code for what the code says. Remember, the program will not do anything that the code doesn't say to do. So in the code, we never said wage equals WAG. So that doesn't happen because the code is not there. Any attribute that is not initialized by the constructor inside of the curly braces of the constructor is then set to the default value of that type. Since wage is a double, it'll set wage to the default value 0.0. So this WAG here is never used, even though I created a parameter there to take in a value for the wage. I never actually said that line of code, wage equals WAG. So this is probably a logical error, okay? But remember, logical error will still run the code. So it will compile. It's just that that won't happen of using WAG 235.0 for the wage. So then the wage will actually remain 0.0. It will not change. This happens for MC2. So MC2 is also a worker object. And so it will also have a name, an age, and a wage. But the name and the age are the only two that are set by the constructor, because in the constructor, the code is only to use num for name and ag for age, but does not use WAG at all. So wage for MC2 will also be 0.0. And then I create MC3. So that was the next line of code. I created MC2. And then for MC3, same problem. I create my MC3 object, which is also a worker object. So it will have the attributes: name, age, and wage. But in the code, I only use name, Emily, and I only use age, 36. The wage is not set, and so the wage will remain 0.0, the default value. So in this code, we're going to print out MC3 age. Well, what is MC3 age? MC3 age is 36. So it'll print out 36. Then it'll join behind it a comma, and then it'll print MC2 wage. Well, what's MC2 wage? MC2 wage is 0.0. So it'll print out 0.0 next. Then it'll print out another comma with a space. And last, it'll concatenate MC2 age, MC2 name, excuse me. So MC2 name is Alan. So the last thing that it will concatenate here will be Alan. So it will print 36, 0.0, Alan, which is answer choice B.